my hero and a foundational thinker in my own journey towards a libertarian perspective is Socrates. And the apocryphal story about Socrates is that the oracle in ancient Greece was asked who the wisest person in Greece was, and she declared that it was Socrates. But Socrates' own perspective was that, well, I don't know anything for certain. But what marked him out as different was that he at least knew that he didn't know anything. And this took the form of Socrates was kind of a mischievous character, and he would go and find the people who were proselyting for different perspectives, and he would ask them these cheeky questions and get into discussions with them and unpick the thinking behind the things that they were putting forward. And what Socrates discovered was, not only did they know less than he did, but they didn't know how little they knew. So these people who are extremely filled with certainty were suffering from a Dunning-Kruger effect, really, of arguing in unconscious incompetence and a real lack of humility. And this is something that we just see all the time now. We see so little active curiosity to really understand different perspectives. Now, Socrates had a superpower, and his superpower was he claimed that when he was speaking to the young, he could discern whether or not a person was speaking with an idea that they themselves were the author and originator of, or whether they were just parroting things that had been fed to them. Even in ancient Greece, there were, throughout our history, there has been the tendency to... Actually, this is sometimes called the banking model of education, whereby a teacher is seen as being the possessor of certain knowledge, and they're going to deposit it like a bank account into the mind of their student, rather than cultivating an opportunity for active learning in what Frere called a problem-posing education, where we look at different situations, different problems are presented to students, and then they use their own reasoning and deductive powers to get what learning that they may out of it. This really relates to social pedagogy, where we're working alongside people and we're trying to cultivate learning. We're not necessarily predetermining what the learning will be when we're working alongside clients, say in a social care setting. So Socrates could discern whether or not somebody was just parroting existing thoughts, and I'd be interested to know your thoughts on what does it take to have an original thought. Is that possible? What might be evidence that somebody is thinking freely and that they're not just producing a kind of verbal photocopy of perspectives that they've been exposed to?